What's up, my name is Kevin Lee, and welcome back to Atlassian Answered, the series where we tackle your top questions on all things Atlassian. In this video, we're going to be diving into one of the most powerful time savers in Jira, automations. If you've ever run a project, you know how it goes. You're tracking tasks, chasing updates from teammates, checking approvals, and before you know it, you're spending more time managing the project than actually getting work done. That's where Jira automations come in. They take care of repetitive tasks automatically so that your team can focus on the work that really matters. And now with Rovo, Atlassian's new AI solution, building and customizing automations is easier than ever. Now, this video will be a very high-level overview into automations, and so if you want to go deeper, check out the link down below for a free course, as well as our full library of on-demand learning. With that being said, let's get straight into the video. So what exactly are automations? Simply put, automations are rules you can set up in Jira that help your project run smoothly behind the scenes. And every automation is built from three main parts: a trigger, a condition, and an action. A trigger is what starts the automation. Think of it like a green light. Something happens, and that tells Jira to begin the rule. Examples of triggers include when a task is marked as done, when a due date passes, or when a new issue is created. Next, a condition is what filters where or when that rule applies. So maybe you want to run this automation, but you only want it to apply to certain teams, project types, or work items. That's what conditions are for. Finally, an action is what Jira does once the rule is ran. That can mean updating a status, adding a comment, sending a Slack message, or notifying someone automatically. So simply put, the trigger tells Jira when to run, the condition filters what it applies to, and the action decides what happens next. Once you understand this pattern, creating automations becomes pretty simple. Alright, now that we know what they are, let's dive into how to actually find automations in Jira. If you're on board or list view, look for the small lightning bolt icon at the top. Click that and you'll be taken straight to automations. You can also get there by going to your project settings. Just click on the three dots on the sidebar, select project settings, and scroll down to automations. Once you're there, you'll see a few options. You could choose from templates, which are pre-built automations that you could turn on instantly, or you could create your own rule from scratch using Rovo. This allows you to describe what you want in plain English, and it builds the automation for you. So for example, you could type when a task is done, close the parent epic, and Rovo will generate that exact rule automatically. Now that you know the basic steps for getting started with automations, let's go into a few common use cases that could be really helpful for you and your team. Starting with one of the most helpful use cases, keeping your project organized and up to date. Simply put, there are a lot of times when your Jira board can get a little bit messy. Maybe some tasks haven't been updated in weeks, or a parent task is marked done, even though the smaller tasks underneath it are still open. It happens all the time, and it makes it really hard to tell what work items are actually finished. Luckily, with automations, Jira can keep everything updated for you automatically. Over in the templates page, you'll find an automation that says, when all subtasks are done, mark the parent as done. Here, the trigger is when a subtask moves to done. The condition checks that all other subtasks under the same parent are also done. The action updates the parent task to done. You can also flip it the other way. If a parent task moves to in progress, all its subtasks can automatically move too. These type of rules keep your board accurate without you having to lift a finger. Another great automation for project cleanliness is reminders. And so let's say you want to create an automation that reminds your teammates about overdue work. To do this, you could create a rule that says, every morning at 9 a.m., send a message to anyone with past due work. And here's how it'll work. You start with a scheduled trigger, for example, run daily at 9 a.m., add a condition saying if the due date is before today, and then set the action saying send Slack message or email to the assignee. Just like that, Jira follows up for you, keeping everyone on task and the whole project running smoothly. Another common use case of automations are handoffs, which are making sure that the right people are alerted, the right context is shared, and tasks move forward smoothly. Usually, building these automations takes a lot of time and a lot of technical experience. Luckily, with AI, Rovo can do the heavy lifting for you. Here's how it works. Go to the automation tab in your project, and from there, you can simply describe what you want to happen. For example, you might type, if someone updates a work item with the label creative, send Daniel a Slack message. Rovo will then instantly build that automation rule for you, setting the trigger, condition, and action automatically. You can use the same approach for all kinds of different workflows, setting notifications when issues are updated, sending statuses when reviews are approved, or assigning new requests to teammates automatically. With Robo, setting up powerful automations takes seconds instead of hours, allowing your project to run smoother with everyone in the loop. Now let's take a look at one more really useful type of automation, automatically assigning work to the right individual. This is especially helpful if you work on a large team that gets new tasks constantly. And so, for example, let's say that you work on a creative team and you want all tasks to go to your designer automatically. You can create a rule that says, when an issue is created and has the label design, assign it to Taylor. The trigger will be issue created, the condition is label equals design, and the action is assigned to Taylor. You can even add more logic. For example, if the label is brand, assign it to Jamie. If it's copy, assign it to Alex. Once you set up these rules, new requests instantly land with the right person, and nothing slips through the cracks. And before we wrap up, it's important to note that automations don't just stay within Jira, they work within all the tools that you use in your everyday workday. For example, if a pull request is merged in GitHub, you could automatically move it to the related Jira issue to done. Or if a Figma file is updated, you could have the connected design task switch to in review. These type of integrations can keep your project perfectly in sync across multiple tools, so that your team always knows what's going on without having to switch tabs or chase updates. Alright, I know that was a lot of information, and so let's do a quick recap. Jira automations keep your project run smoothly without all the manual work. Project cleanliness automations keep your board accurate by updating parent and child tasks automatically. Sharing updates let you notify your team when milestones are reached or approvals are needed, so work keeps moving. And routing and assignment rules make sure that new work instantly lands with the right person. Together, these automations save time, reduce manual updates, and help your team stay focused on what matters most. And that's it. Once again, if you want to learn more about automations, check out the free Jira course linked down below. On top of that, you could also join the Atlassian community to connect with other teams and get your questions answered. If this video was helpful, drop a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe to the Atlassian YouTube channel. Alright, that's all for this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.